go. Chapter 3, Section 4, Solving Multi-Step Equations. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple extra steps here. No longer just 2 steps. If it was 2 steps, and you can see the 2 steps are actually 4 and 5 now. Those 2 steps that we did the other day. It says we will now add more steps to the ones discussed previously. We will see in this lesson what to do if we have variables located on both sides of the equation. And if you remember the look beyonds from the other day, we had some of those problems already. Step number 1. Read the equations of fractions. If you don't mind working with fractions, you can leave them in there. It does say next to it this is an optional step. You don't have to do it. But step 1, get rid of fractions. Step 2 says combine any like terms on the same side of the equation. Clean up the same side. Step number 3, move the variable from one side of the equation and group them with the variables on the other side. And keep in mind moving a term, it says moving a term across the equal sign changes the sign of the term. Then steps 4 and 5 are the same things we did. Once you do steps 1, 2, and 3 today, you'll have a 2-step equation left every time. But some of you would rather just see problems than to see steps, so let's just work some. Example 1, first problem. Notice you have variables on both sides of your equation. And when you do have this, no problem. Still really easy. Negative 3m plus 14 equals 5m plus 38. Okay, I told you the other day, let's go back and review for a second. A plus B equals C plus D. How many terms do I have there? 4. And what did I tell you, if you wanted to move A to this side over here, what does it become? A negative A. If I wanted to move C to the left side, it becomes negative C. When you move a term, all you've got to do is change its sign. It's the same way with these problems, guys. Makes it really easy. That's what we're going to do. First step, you got m's on both sides. First step here, since we have no fractions to worry about, all you've got to do is move the m's to the same side. A negative 3m, that's a term, right? A negative 3m becomes what when you move it to the other side? It becomes positive 3m. Just put it over there with the other m's. Mark them out. Read for me what we have now. 14, 8m plus 38. Any questions on how we got that? All we did was we put our m's together from one side, moved it over. Now it's just the same thing we did the other day. Identical. That's the reason I told you solving 2-step equations are important. Solving 1-step equations are important because once you solve these, you have identical problems to what you had on Friday. So 14 equals 8m plus 38. Now that we've got the m's together, now we can get it by itself. We got to get rid of 8. We got to get rid of 38. What do we get rid of first? Plus 38. Addition and subtraction. So we move 38 over here with a 14. What does it become? Minus 38, which does give us negative 24, equals what's left? 8m. How do we get m by itself? Why do we divide? Because 8 is being multiplied by m, so we're going to divide by 8. Gets rid of it. We move it to this side by division. Negative 24 divided by 8, m is negative 3. You can write as negative 3 equals m or m equals negative 3. Any questions? The only thing that was different was this right here. The rest of it was identical to what we did on Friday. Any questions? Good deal. And I do encourage you, if you don't understand this or if you think you're going to forget it between now and when we start the lesson, copy these problems down. I'll give you a second. You can always raise your hand and say, I wasn't finished copying that down yet, and I can give you a little bit more time to copy it down if you need to. I'll do this one over here so you'll have more time. 5x minus 7 equals 4x plus 3. Again, you have x's on both sides. And if you understand this and you understand the distributive property, these equations don't get much harder. This is about as tough as they get. So we do one more section on solving equations tomorrow, but other than that, guys, this is about it. This is about the extent of it. You have x's on both sides. You have 2 options here. You can either move your 5x's over here with a 4x. If you do, what does it become? Negative 5x or minus 5x. Or you can move your 4x over here with a 5x. If you do, what does it become? Negative 4x. Let me give you a little bit of advice here. I would move the 4x because if you move the 5x, let's think about that. It becomes minus 5x. What's 4x minus 5x? A negative 1x. What if you move the 4x? 5x minus 4x, is that a negative? No, I would move the 4x then, because then you don't have to deal with negative numbers. So negative 4x, mark it out, it's gone. Does that make sense to everybody? What is 5x minus 4x? 1x. X. Good job. What do we have left? X. Now it's easy, right? What's the last step? It becomes. So x is. Any questions? Next problem says 5x minus 7 equals 4x. 5x minus 7 equals 4x. Okay. You notice nearly identical to the last problem. But I'm going to show you something on this problem that a lot of people miss. Okay, you got two options again. You can either move the 5x over here with the 4x, or you can move the 4x over with the 5x, and I would too. I'd move the 4x over here and it becomes minus 4x, which is 1x. You have x minus 7 equals nothing's left. If there's nothing left, then put nothing. What do I mean by nothing? 0. If there's nothing left on one side or the other, if you've moved everything, always put a 0 there, because if you don't, it's going to throw you off. Now it's easy. We have one other thing to get rid of to get x by itself. What is it? Minus 7 becomes positive 7, so x equals 7. And I do remind you that any time that you find the solution, you can go back and plug it in. Your original said 5x minus 7 equals 4x. So everywhere you have an x, put a 7. See if it's true. 5 times 7 minus 7, what is that? 35 minus 7, which is 28. Equals, what's 4 times 7? Is that true? Yeah. You can always plug it back in to check yourself. That always works, because you're trying to figure out what value of x makes that a true statement. Next problem. Negative 3m plus 14 is 5m. Oops. Negative 3m plus 14 equals 5m. Again, you have m's on both sides. You got two options. Either move the 5m to the left side, or move negative 3m to the right side. If you move 5m to the left side, what does it become? Negative 5m, and you end up with negative m's. We don't want that. Because at the same time, we could also do minus 3m to the right side, and it becomes, what? Plus 3m. Right? Negative becomes a positive. So we moved it. What do we have left? Any questions? 14 equals 8m. Last step, how do we get m by itself? Divide by 8. And again, guys, let me show you a trick here. I'll slow down, let some of you catch up with me. Anytime you see division, I want you to think fraction. 14 divided by 8 is the same thing as 14 over 8 as a fraction, 14 eighths. Can we not just reduce that fraction? Well, reduce 14 over 8 is 7 over 4. I don't mind, you can leave it like that, m equals 7/4. A lot of times in your higher maths, we'll just leave fractions as improper. Or you can change it, 4 will go into 7 once with, how many left over? 3. And then put it over the same bottom. M equals 7/4 or m equals 1 3/4. Or if you divided that, you're going to get m equals 1.75. 3/4, that's 75 cents. Nearly done. Y'all looking sleepy today. Y'all had 3 days catch up on your sleep.